the space is called presence of body parts in the space or in the air is called posture. So there may be different types of postures. Supine posture is a posture. Lateral supine is another posture. Sitting posture is a posture. Standing posture is a posture. Dancing posture is a posture. All are postures. So what is posture you know, but it is very difficult if you are asked to define posture. So please remember, posture means arrangement or of body parts in the space is called posture. And in one posture, if the posture is stable, we do not fall. At that time, that is called equilibrium. Stability in posture is called equilibrium, right? Then comes tone. As I already told in the previous class, the resistance of muscle against stretch. Resistance of muscle against stretch is called tone. I repeat, resistance of a muscle against stretch is called tone. If the tone is there, then only posture is possible. And if the posture is stable, then equilibrium is possible. Because, say for example, if you want to draw a picture in the blackboard, first you have to stand. So that is your standing posture. Then you have to equilibrate. You can stand but you are falling just like a small baby. So you cannot draw. So equilibrium comes second. Then your tone, posture and equilibrium. So tone is there in your anti-gravity muscles, so and big muscles, so you can stand, and that tone is less than the tone in your fingers, so that you can hold a chalk and draw a picture, right? So in different parts of the body muscle, the tone is different, right? And if the tone is, no tone is there, atonia. If the tone is more than normal, hypertonia. If the tone is less, hypotonia, that you know. For example, if you feel the muscle of a old person, you will see that the muscle tone is less, the muscle is very soft. And if you touch and if you feel the tone of a young person, then you will get the muscle is taut, the tone is more. That is the normal tone of that muscle. Now for equilibrium, it comes from different sides. Number one, from the eyes, the equilibrium, that means the stable posture is possible for the involvement of eyes and the reflexes which originate from the eyes. It is for the vision, focal and peripheral. Then the equilibrium, for the equilibrium, the next thing is needed, that is vestibular system, right? Vestibular system is the inner part of the ear. And then comes the proprioception. Proprioceptions means joint sense and muscle sense from the neck muscles and joints, from the other joints, from the joints in different parts of the legs, from soles, touch. All those comes and make some reflex action and we equilibrate the body. Besides that, for tone, posture and equilibrium, another organ is specially involved, that is called cerebellum. So for tone, posture and equilibrium, the cerebellum plays a vital role. Then the role is played by the vestibular system. Then the role is played by the proprioception from the different joints and muscles, and last but not the least, it comes from the reflexes which starts from eyes. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So you see, the same thing is represented in another way. The visual and proprioceptive tactile inputs comes to central nervous system, CNS, from semicircular canals and from saccule utricle. That is, these two makes your vestibular apparatus. That from there nervous impulses comes to central nervous system. And semicircular canal, the function of semicircular canal, function of saccule and utricle is written here. They all comes in the central nervous system, and then it goes to forebrain for orientation, spinal cord and cerebellum for postural control, and oculomotor system for eye movement, and from the eye movement the reflexes are also originated, and that all those things combinedly helps in our maintaining our tone, posture and equilibrium. Is it clear to you all?
Yes, sir.
Should I proceed?
Also, sir.
Then comes the vestibular apparatus. In the inner ear, there are two parts, main two parts. One is cochlea, and in this cochlea there is organ of Corti, which is concerned with our listening or hearing purposes, audition. And another part of the inner ear is the vestibular apparatus, the whole thing, which is shown here. And the vestibular apparatus is, you can divide into three semicircular canals, 1, 2 and 3. Three semicircular canals, and three semicircular canals are attached to a structure that is called utricle. It is U-like structure, utricle, and where the semicircular canals join, that portion is little bulged like a pitcher. So this is called ampulla. The pitcher like swollen part is called ampulla. Ampulla of water you have read, I think. So ampulla means the dilated part of a tubular structure. So here is the ampulla, 1, 2, 3. Then this is the utricle. And utricle is joined by a small sac-like structure that is called saccule. In the utricle and saccule there is a structure that is inside it. There is a structure that is called macule. The macule of utricle is there, macule of saccule is there, and in the ampulla there is cristae. One structure is there, that is cristae. These things will come later. And always remember that these three semicircular canals are in 90-degree angles to each other. So you are all sitting in a room, see the corner of the room. Please see the corner of the room. So in the corner you will get one wall, one side, another wall, another side, and a floor. So three surfaces are there. See, all three surfaces are in 90-degree angle to each other. The floor, the one side of the wall and another wall. Okay, you imagine that one semicircular canal is in one wall another semicircular canal is in another wall, and another semicircular canal is in the on the floor. So these three semicircular canals are 90° to each other, right? And in that way it is arranged. Up to this, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So if we see this figure, are you seeing the figure? Blue, green, yellow. Are you seeing the figure?
देखिए ऐसे सर.
Okay. So here this structure, please follow the cursor. This structure is called utricle, and it is attached to another structure, small sac-like structure, that is called saccule. And the utricle, in the utricle, these semicircular canals are joined, and these semicircular canals which is joining the parts of the utricle, they are swollen parts. So this is called the ampulla. In the ampulla of the semicircular canal, there is a cone-like, ice cream cone-like, is like you see this structure. This is called cristae, right? And in the cristae there is some cells, and in the cells there is hair. Hairy cells are there. So if the hairs are moved, then the impulse comes through these nerves, right? And this is the structure in the ampulla or cristae. Those are the things related to the semicircular canals. Then comes the utricle. In the utricle, inside the utricle, there is a jelly-like thing, and in that jelly-like thing there are some crystal. That is calcium carbonate crystals, and the jelly-like things are there. This is called macula. So it is the macula of utricle. Here another macula is there. It is the macula of saccule, right? The macula of utricle, macula of saccule, right? Here also the hair cells are present. Am I clear? So hair cells are present in the cristae, hair cells are present in the macule of saccule, macule of utricle, and hair cells are present in the macule of saccule. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So same thing is written here. The three canals are positioned roughly at the right angles to one another in the three planes of the space. Thus the canals react separately and combination to detect different types of swiveling head movement. They are detected when we nod an up and down motion, that is called pitch. When we tilt our head side to side. Okay, I'll come later to this. So you see, there is semicircular canals. Can you see the vestibular apparatus? Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
There are semicircular canals, and the semicircular canals in that cristae, the hair cells are stimulated by the rotational movement. Maybe pitch, maybe roll, maybe yaw, maybe full body rotation. So what is pitch? If we keep our head straight and then do up, head up and down, up towards the back and down towards front, that is called pitch. Then if we put our head to one shoulder and to another shoulder, one shoulder to one shoulder and another shoulder, that is called roll. If we tell no by nodding our head, that is called yo, no, like that. And if we rotate our body as a ballet dancer rotates, full body rotation, then also the semicircular canals, inside that fluid is there, that is moved, and that movement causes the movement of the hair cells hair of the hair cells present in the cristae ampullaris, right? Another is utricle. Utricle have macule inside, and that is in macule of utricle there are hair cells. These hair cells are stimulated when there is horizontal acceleration. That means suppose you are on a scooter, driving a scooter. So, and somebody is in your back. So, when you are driving a scooter or motorbike or something like the cycle, whatever may be, so you think your acceleration is horizontal. Sida jancho, I know. For at that time, the hair cells, which hair cells are stimulated? The hair cells present in the macule of the utricular hair cells are stimulated. From there, the reflex action is originating and making your tone, posture and equilibrium in normal position, in normal state, right? Now, if you go up and down by a lift, so what will be the hair cell movement? That is vertical acceleration. Those hair cells are in the macula of sacule. So saccular hair cells are stimulated by vertical acceleration. Now this utricle and saccule, when they are stimulated, when you are binding your shoelace, at that time your head, you think that your head is down, and at that time the saccular hair cells are moving, right? Now this utricle and saccule is collectively known as otolith organ. Why auto? Because it is related to ear, so it is called auto. Why it is called lith? Lith means, it comes from, lith means the stone. So we have read in our school days the hydrosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere, isn't it? The atmosphere means hawa, air, and above it. Then lithosphere means stone, soil, etc. And the hydrosphere means water, isn't it? So in this otolith organ there is jelly-like substance. In the macule of utricle and saccule, it is made up of, macule is made up of some jelly-like material, and in it some calcium carbonate crystals are impregnated. So calcium carbonate crystals looks like stones, and that is why it is called stony organ or otolith organ. Am I clear now?
Yes, sir.
Let us go to what I have already told. It is written here. What is speech, what is the whole, what is yaw. The semicircular canals are responsible for directing any kind of rotational movement of the head, right? Then utricle saccule. About utricle saccule, macule is there, calcium carbonate crystals are there. Why they are called otoliths? That ear stones are there, that is why it is called otolith organs. So may I skip this slide?
Yes, sir.
Are you talking on behalf of all of you?
Yes, sir.
Now you see, here it is a valid answer. So when she is rotating her body, then the fluid around the copula is flowing, suppose in this direction. Okay, and when she stops in another direction, due to the movement of the fluid will be in another direction. In any way, this crista, copula of the crista, copula, and here is the hair cells. So hairs are moved. So when hairs are moved, then the equilibrium system gets that how body has to be equilibrated, right? So this is the role of crista ampullaris. The ampulla, in that cristae is there and the hair cells are here, right? Then it is the head is tilting. So when head is tilting, at that time the macula of the saccule, previously when the person head was in that way, the macula was like that, macula of saccule was like that, and these are the calcium carbonate crystals, right? When the head is down, at that time the macula is down in this way. So the hairs here of the hairs of the hair cells were up, and here of the hair cells moves, and from here the nerve impulses is going to the central nervous system to equilibrate posture, tone, posture and equilibrium has to be maintained by this, right? Up to this clear?
Clear, sir.
May I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is nystagmus? Nystagmus means jerky movement of the eyes. Jerky movement of the eyes. So nystagmus has two components. One is slow component, and it is initiated by the vestibular labyrinth, that is semicircular canal, and quick component. Quick component of the nystagmus is initiated by the brainstem. And if you are asked what is the direction of the nystagmus, we have to go to you have to think about the quick component, right? Quick component is by brainstem, and quick component is the direction of nystagmus. First slow component, then quick components, right? So when somebody is in a moving vehicle and looking at outside, then you will get the nystagmus in normal persons, right? So suppose there is clockwise rotation. So rotation, and after that rotation stops. So quick component will be in anti-clockwise direction by the quick component will be in the anti-clockwise direction by the brainstem, and slow component in the clockwise direction by the vestibular labyrinth, that is the semicircular canal. So why nystagmus is so important? Because if we are in stable position, there will be no nystagmus. If we are in a moving vehicle, there will be nystagmus, that is normal. If the nystagmus is there in resting condition also, that is abnormal. Resting nystagmus. We will come later on about those things, about those conditions. And I think you have done the 8 cranial nerve, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 8 cranial nerve, that is vestibulocochlear. No. So cochlear nerve is all right or not? For that you have done the hearing thing. Hearing or audition is all right or not? You have done the Rini test, Weber test, and Sobak test. Can you remember?
Yes, sir.
And what is the test for the vestibular apparatus? Can you remember that? You have not done but read, I think.
We put something liquid
Yes
in
or no?
here.
Huh?
We put liquid in here and
Yes, liquid, warm liquid in ear and cold liquid in one ear. Okay, so that is cows. Remember the mnemonic is cows. Cold, if the cool water is given, then nystagmus will be in the opposite direction. Left ear ma diye bhane quick component right tiro, nystagmus ko quick component right tiro huncha, CO. Warm water diye bhane W for warm, in the same side. If you give warm water in right ear, then the quick component of the nystagmus will be in the right direction. Right ear ma diye bhane right direction bhane pachi same side, right? So in that way, by seeing the nystagmus, you can get whether, you can test whether the vestibular apparatus is all right or not. That is why nystagmus, you must know what is nystagmus, right? Up to this clear?
clear.
Okay? Bujheo?
Yes, sir.
Should I tell it again?
ठीक है, sir.
Should I repeat or not repeat? Should I proceed?
Yes, sir. Proceed, कर down, sir.
So as I already told, what is speech, what is roll, what is yaw, what is linear acceleration. In that case, the utricular hair cells will be stimulated. How to remember? So when you think, when you are, say for example, you are in a bike and somebody is driving the bike and you are in the back. So your hands will be, you will embrace the person, isn't it? So your posture will be like U, isn't it? English U. So you trickle, right? Right? So when there is acceleration, right, linear acceleration, you are in a bike or a car or something, moving, going to agadi gaira. So tetibela which hair cells will be stimulated? Utricular macula bhitra jun hair cell haru chan tiniharu stimulated huncha. Am I clear? When you are driving a motorcycle or scooter like that, then which hair cells are activated? The hair cells in the macula of the utricle. And when you are going up and up by an accelerator or by a lift, then which one is activated? Hair cell of saccule. Hair cell of macule of saccule. Am I clear now?
Yes, sir.
And when there is any type of head movement or whole body movement, then the crista ampullaris hair cells will be stimulated. Maybe pitch, maybe roll, maybe yaw, maybe whole body rotation like this. Right? Then labyrinthine, that is labyrinth. Labyrinth mane ki ho? What is the meaning of labyrinth? Means bhulbhulaiya. भुलभुलैया कहाँ गयो, कहाँ एक ठाउँमा घुस्यो, कहाँबाट निस्किने पथ कहाँ छ, you entered somewhere and you don't know how to come out. That is called labyrinth. So here utricle, saccule, then semicircular canal, then vestibular apparatus, whole the cochlea, all are like bulbulaya. So that is why it is called labyrinth. So labyrinthine writing reflex. So if our body posture is in wrong position, then it will be righted, it will be rightened. Okay, the wrong position will be by reflex action, it will be right position. So series of responses integrated from the nucleus in the brain stem. Stimulus for this is tilting of the head, which stimulates the otolithic organ, and responses is mediated by complementary contraction of the neck muscles to keep the head in the same level or in stable position, movement of visual images on retina. So that is labyrinthine writing reflex. Suppose you are sleeping, as I already told in your previous class, slept. Not nidaya kochad, slept, your kutta, you slept in a slippery surface. So previously you are seeing, before slept, you are seeing a object, all on a sudden you sleep, your head goes up, so the eyes will be up. So from there the visual field will be changed and there will be some movement of the eye, and that will go to the vestibular apparatus. Then there will be some and the labyrinth is also, the labyrinth, that means the vestibular apparatus also will be stimulated, and the integrated reflex will be there, and your body will be, you will try to keep your body in right position so that you do not fall. And that is called labyrinthine writing reflex, when the reflex is originated from the labyrinth. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Then comes vertigo.
Sir,
Vertigo
repeat
means
त्यो labyrinthine writing reflex repeat गरिदिनु न.
From the labyrinth, labyrinth means what? Utricle, saccule, semicircular canal. From there the reflex, there are some receptors. Which are the receptors? The hair cells are the receptors. When from that receptors, hair cell receptors, the reflex is originated, and by that reflex we can keep our body in the right position and can prevent fall. That is called labyrinthine writing reflex. Now, how it is possible? When the reflexes are completed, then you know, for a reflex the effector organ is there. Here the effector organ is the neck muscle. So neck muscle is contracted in such a way that the head is kept in proper position to prevent the fall. Another thing, when the visual images on the retina falls in a normal way, but when we are asleep, at that time from the visual, from the retina also the reflexes are there. Visual image comes in retina, from there sound the brain does not go to from there the reflex is originated, and that also makes our body in a stable position. Sometimes they contract the neck muscle, sometimes they contract the other muscles of the body to prevent the fall. So those things collectively known as labyrinth writing reflex. Is it clear now? That is why first sentence I have written here, serial responses integrated in the nucleus in the brainstem. Brainstem means what? Midbrain, pons, medulla. From there, this brainstem nucleus gets the information, the sensory stimulus from the eye also and from the labyrinth also. Now the center is in the brainstem, say for example, and then the effector organ is the muscles of the neck mainly to keep the head in proper position so that we cannot fall. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Sure? May I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Then comes vertigo. Vertigo means what? I am in a stable position and my surroundings are in a stable position. All on a sudden it seems that surrounding, I am in stable position and other surroundings are moving. That is called vertigo. So why it is, what may be the cause of vertigo? The disorder of vestibular system, inflammation of vestibular system may cause vertigo. Now there are the most dangerous one is benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. Benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. Here, even when the person is in the lying down position, in supine position, and turning over the bed or bending over, at that time also vertigo, feeling of vertigo comes. And the cause of this BPPV or benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, the cause of dislodged otoconia from utricle macula to semicircular canal. I repeat, the otoconia, that means the calcium carbonate crystals from here, this is utricle, this is macula of utricle. From here, it is going towards the ampulla. See, from here, otoconia or the calcium carbonate crystals are dislodged and lodged here. Then there will be BPPV. See again, otoconia from utricular macula used to be lodged in the copula of the semicircular canal. Ampulla, copula, whatever may be. Now Meniere's disease. Here also there is vertigo, dizziness and tinnitus. Vertigo you know, dizziness also you know. Tinnitus means there is no sound but there is, the person is feeling some sound always, he or she is experiencing in the ear. Some sound is coming. That is called tinnitus. What is the cause? The mixing of endolimb and perilimb. The mixing of endolimb and perilimb. Endolimb and perilimb are in cochlea, right? Cochlea. When you will we will read about the audition, inner ear audition, then you will get what is endolimb, what is perilimb. I think you know also because you have already read in your school days. So if there is endolymph and perilymph mixing up, then there may be Meniere's disease, and there is that causes vertigo, dizziness, and tinnitus. Motion sickness, very common. There are some persons who, whenever they are in moving vehicle, they feel motion sickness, and they vomit, and they feel dizzy, etc. That is, the cause is excessive stimulation of vestibular system in the brainstem. Excessive stimulation of vestibular system, which gives too much, more than optimum impulses to the brainstem, and flocculonodular lobe of cerebellum. Flocculonodular lobe is in the cerebellum and in the brainstem. That means midbrain pons medulla is the brainstem, flocculonodular lobe is in the cerebellum. If they are excessively stimulated by the vestibular system, that causes motion sickness, dizziness, vertigo, etc. Up to this clear?
Yes, sir.
Let us come to tone. Your brain is receptive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tone means, as I already told, that the resistance of a muscle against stretch is called tone. Resistance of muscle against stretch is called tone. So you see here, inside the muscle there is a portion of the muscle that is called intraphyseal fiber, and outside the muscle there are extraphyseal fiber. These are the extraphyseal fiber, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these extraphyseal muscle fibers. When the muscle contracts, as I think you have done biceps jerk, yes, no? Did you do the jerk? I mean biceps jerk, triceps jerk, quadriceps jerk, etc. Knee jerk, Goreko? Yes, no?
No, sir. Practical
Okay, it's all right. Okay, huncha. So when the muscle contracts, you see the contraction of muscle, na? Contraction of muscle you have seen. So when we are moving our hand, feet, the muscles is contracting, you have seen? Okay, if you do not see, you flex your hand and extend your hand and see the biceps is contracting or not. Have you seen now? Stretch your hand, then fold your hand. Biceps is contracting, triceps is contracting. Are you seeing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So those muscles which you are seeing, that is the extraphyseal muscle. Intraphyseal muscles cannot be seen because it is inside, right? And the intraphyseal muscle, there is a capsule. It is encapsulated, right? And the interphyseal muscle, in the interphyseal muscle there may be two types of muscle fiber. One is nuclear chain fibers. So the nucleus of the muscle is like that, like a chain, right? So this is called nuclear chain fiber. And another type of muscle is there, that is called nuclear bag fiber, because nucleus are there, muscle nucleus are there in the, and it is a swollen part, so bag-like part, so it is called nuclear bag fiber. And you see in this interphyseal muscle, towards the end of the muscle, there are some contractile fiber, and in the middle there is no contractile fiber. In case of the extraphyseal fiber, all contractile fibers are there. Actin myosin is there. But in case of the interphyseal fiber, in the middle, the nucleus are there, maybe in chain, maybe not in chain, but in coins in the bag, right? And in the ends, in the two ends, some contractile fiber is there, right? Now, here you see, there are this is the alpha motor neuron. So the alpha motor neuron is innervating the extrapyramidal fiber. So when alpha motor neuron is discharging, at that time the extrapyramidal muscle fiber contract. Then comes the gamma motor fiber. Gamma motor fiber, this is the alpha motor fiber. The red one is gamma motor fiber. Okay. Now the gamma motor fiber may be two, static gamma motor and dynamic gamma motor, right? Now static motor and dynamic motor, they are attached to the intrapyramidal fiber, not to the extrapyramidal fiber, right? Gamma motor neurons are attached to the intrapyramidal fibers, right? So when the gamma motor neuron discharges, at that time intrapyramidal muscle contract, the side of the intrapyramidal muscle contract, and this portion is taut. The middle portion is taut. Otherwise, when these ends are not contracting, at that time they are laxed. This portion is laxed. When this portion is taut, at that time you see the sensory fibers takes the sensation. This is the muscle spindle. This is called muscle spindle as a whole. So muscle spindle takes the impulse, sensory impulse to the center by two types of fibers. You see, one in green, one is blue. Type 1A fiber, type 2 fiber, right? So type 2 fiber, type 1 fiber, they are sensory fibers. After this, clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Clear? Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can think about the law of two. All are two. Two types of muscle fibers. One is extrapyramidal and is innervated by alpha motor neuron. Another is intrapyramidal. Another type is intrapyramidal muscle fiber, and it is contractile polar ends and a non-contractile center is there. Intrapyramidal muscle fiber. Now we are thinking about the intrapyramidal muscle fiber. Again, two types. Intrapyramidal muscle fibers are two types. One is nuclear back fiber, another is nuclear chain fiber. Then nuclear back fiber is also two types. One is dynamic nuclear back fiber, another is static nuclear back fiber. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let us think how it is innervated. पहिला चित्र हेरौँ त्यसपछि पढ्ने. First त यो क्याप्सुल भित्र छ intrapyramidal muscle fiber within the capsule. This is the capsule. So you see here there are two types of sensory fibers. These moto sensory fibers, right? One is 1A fiber, it is innervating the dynamic nuclear back fiber, static nuclear back fiber, chain fibers. So nuclear chain fibers and two types of nuclear back fibers all are connected to, all are innervated by 1A sensory fiber. 1A sensory nerve is innervating both the back fibers and the chain fibers. Another type of sensory nerves you are seeing here, two sensory nerves. Type 2 sensory nerve is innervating the chain fiber, static back fiber. Two sensory is innervating chain, not dynamic. This is the innervation of the muscle spindle, muscle spindle by the sensor, the motor nerve. I am talking about motor nerve now. The motor nerve static motor is innervating static back fiber, all chain fibers. Dynamic motor is only innervating dynamic. Am I clear? This figure, if you forget, you will forget everything. You must remember this figure, that's all. Is it clear to you all?
Yes, sir.
Should I repeat?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I have told, that is written. Group 1A sensory innervates along the center all three types of muscles from the primary sensory ending sensitive to the velocity of change in the muscle length during stretch. Velocity, when it is active, it is sensitive when the velocity of change of velocity in the muscle length during stretch, that is dynamic response. Provide information about the speed of movements and allow the quick corrective movement. Quick corrective movement ko nimti group 1A sensory is needed, and that is connecting all types of muscle fibers. Nuclear chain fiber, nuclear back fiber, dynamic, nuclear back fiber, static. Group 2 sensory innervates adjacent center of the nuclear chain and static back to form secondary ending. Group 1 sensory, Group 1A sensory and Group 2 sensory provide sensitiveness of the static state, tonic, steady state of length of the muscle, static response. Group 1A for static response. Group 1A and Group 2 sensory provide sensitiveness on static state length of muscle. So static response. That means suppose you are holding a bag, not moving your hand, not flexing, not extending, in the same position. At that time Group 1A, Group 2, both sensory is working. Am I clear? Static response. Am I clear?
Sir, actually very bonding.
When you are holding a heavy bag, a heavy book, and you are not moving your hand, right? You are not moving your body part. At that time, both Group 1A and Group 2 sensory are carrying the impulse, and that is static response. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
And dynamic. Now we are talking about the gamma motor fiber. The gamma motor fibers are 3 to 6 μm in diameter, micrometer in diameter. 30% of the motor fibers are gamma motor fiber. Then 70% alpha motor. %70 alpha motor, 30% these two, gamma motor. Am I clear? Two types of static fibers are there. Static gamma motor are there, supply static back fiber and nuclear chain fiber. Activation increases the sensitivity of Group 1A and Group 2 endings. and decrease of dynamic sensitivity of group 1A sensory endings. Dynamic motor, gamma motor supplies the dynamic back fiber only. Dynamic gamma motor, dynamic back fiber only. Activation increases the sensitivity of group 1A ending. See, static gamma motor supplies bag and chain both, all types of bag. Bag are two types. Dynamic bag, static bag. Both are supplied by the static. And activation, and when this gamma motor are sensitive, then 1A, 2, both endings are very sensitive. And only dynamic motor fiber, when the dynamic back fibers are contracted, at that time only 1A endings are stimulated. Up to this clear?
Yes, sir.
Should I continue?
Yes, sir.
Now tone. Tone, as I already told many a times, resistance offered by a muscle against stretch. Resistance of muscle against stretch through partial contraction of extrapyramidal muscle is called tone. So extrapyramidal muscle partially contracted. Now, which comes very, very frequently in the examination, very frequently asked question, that is alpha gamma linkage. So when there is gamma discharge, there is contraction of the ends of the extrapyramidal muscle. So stretching of the intrapyramidal muscles, stretching of intrapyramidal muscles, fibers causes impulse to spinal cord. So there is reflex firing of the alpha motor neuron. So contraction of the extrapyramidal muscle, increased muscle tone. It comes very, very frequently. Bujo ki buje na bano. If you cannot follow, then I will try to make you understand again this one.
Buje, sir.
Suppose from here, this is the gamma. When alpha gamma linkage, again I am telling, gamma discharge contraction at the ends of the intrapyramidal fiber. Gamma discharge contraction at the end of the intrapyramidal fiber. So this intrapyramidal fibers are laxed. While it was taut, then it is laxed. Right? Then what will happen? Stretching, this goes to spinal cord. Then there is reflex firing of alpha motor neuron. So reflex firing of alpha motor neuron. So this extrapyramidal muscle contract. So tone increases. Am I clear? When gamma discharge is there, then there is contraction this side and this side. Kinabane, there is no contractile fiber here in the middle. So this portion is contracted, this portion is contracted. Naturally, the middle portion is not taut. So contract bhayo bhane yesto sanu bhayo. So this portion, the nuclear portion is laxed. So that will carry that motor comes. So the sensory neuron motor, gamma motor from here. So this is contracting. Now the sensation is going through the sensory ratonag. Going to where? Going to the spinal cord. So from the spinal cord there is alpha motor neuron. Alpha motor neuron is contracting the extraphysial fiber. So extraphysial fiber, when contracted, at that time the tone increases, and that is called alpha gamma linkage. Actually, you can tell gamma alpha linkage, but generally it is called alpha gamma linkage. Up to this clear?
Yes, sir.
Should I continue or should I stop?
Sir, आजलाई भयो sir.
आजलाई भयो भने action potential, right? So this is in normal resting state. When the muscle is stretched, at that time what happens? You see this portion is stretched. Here this portion is stretched. So naturally from here the sensory nerve is giving so much impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So sensory nerve is giving sensory. So naturally this sensation goes to where? This sensation, sensory nerve giving impulse to the spinal cord. From the spinal cord there will be reflex and gamma motor neuron will be there. Gamma motor neuron when discharged, then I'm very sorry, I'm very sorry. It goes to, from here it goes to spinal cord. So from spinal cord, alpha motor neuron will be activated. Alpha motor neuron when activated, that will contract the extraphysial muscles, right? Extraphysial muscles. So when extraphysial muscle is contracting, intraphysial muscle become laxed. Or contraction in choina. Contraction ita choina. Interphysial ma choina. Laxed. Okay. So when it is laxed, at that time the sensory fiber is not getting any impulse. So there is no action potential. You see, line only. Now so again when it is like that, then from the gamma motor, again these portions will be these two intraphysial fiber ko duita end, again gamma motor fiber will be released here, discharged here, and this portion will be contracted, and that will come into normal position like this. This is one. Another, increased gamma motor discharge. If you hook your two hands and you